Hi, this video will be on multiplying fractions. So we're going to start with 2/3 and we're going to multiply that by a half. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a diagram for this. So let's start here. And I need to show 2/3. So I need to cut this into thirds. And now all of this is my 2/3. Now I need to make this 2/3 here half as big. So if that's 2/3 and I need to half that, I can see that this is already split in the middle. My answer would be this much here. Now what is this here? So this is, I can see that this is a third, so that it's split into thirds and this is a third. So I can write this is a third and my answer is going to be 1/3. Now again, what I did was I looked at this 2/3 and I made it half as big. So when I look at the diagram, that's my 2/3, and if I make it half as big, that's this much, and this size here is 1/3. So 2/3 times a half is 1/3. And let's try another one. Let's have 2/3 and times that by 1/3. So let's draw another diagram. Okay, again I'm going to show my 2/3 first. So this is my 2/3. Okay, and I need to split this into thirds. So 2/3 and I need to make it a third as big. Now this is actually quite difficult to do, but one way I can do it is I can look at each third individually. So I'll make that into thirds here. So I'll split this into 3 and I'll keep 1/3, and I'll also split this into 3 and I'll keep 1/3 from here. So let's show how that's gonna look. Okay, so that's in thirds now, and this is also in thirds. Now what I had was I had 2/3 and I need to make it a third as big. So I looked at this bit and I'm taking a third off that. So I'll just show what I'm doing here. I'm going to take this bit, and then I looked at this bit as well and I'm going to take a third off that as well, and this is going to be my answer. So my answer this time is these two blue sections here. Now what's the size of these blue sections? So to find the size of these, I need to think about this split into 3 as well. So let's show that. Okay, so what I have here is I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sections, and I've got two of them that are blue. So my answer is going to be 2 out of 9. So it's going to be out of 9, and it's going to be 2 sections out of 9. So I can see that there's 2 blue sections out of 9. There was 3 here, there's 3 there, and there's 3 there. Now again, what I did was I started with 2/3 and I wanted to make it a third as big, but the way I did that was I split that in the middle first. Like I just thought of that one there, and then I split that into 3 and I kept 1, and I split that into 3 and I kept 1, and then I know that the size of these two would be 2 out of 9. Okay, let's try another one. Let's have 4/5 multiplied by a half. Okay, I want you to think about what the diagram will look like before I start drawing it. Okay, but this time I'm actually going to draw a long rectangle. Okay, and I need to split that into fifths. Okay, so now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/5, and I need to start with 4/5. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's show that here. So I'm looking at all of this bit here, and this is what I have as 4/5. Now I need to take this 4/5 and I need to make it half as big. Now I can see half as big would be here. Okay, But I'm going to use the same method I used for this one and show you that it works for this one as well. Okay, so half as big would be here, and I can see that this size here is going to be 2/5. Okay, so let's see if we get 2/5 using the same method we used for the other one. So let's do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each section and I'm going to half them, and I'm going to keep 1/2. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm going to half this section, half that, half this, and half that, and I'm going to keep a half out of each one. Keep that one, keep that one, and keep that one. So remember what we said, we started with 4/5. Half as big we know is 2/5. So the answer that we're looking for is 2/5. Okay, so let's see if we actually have that. Now I looked at each of these sections, I halved them and I kept a half. So I halved this one as well and I kept one, half that and I kept one, and I halved that and I kept one. Now what is the size of this? I've got 4 of these sections, but how many of these sections fit in all the way through? I can see that that one split into half as well will make it 2 times 5, which is 10 sections. Okay, so I'll show you that. Let's just break this one up as well. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or you can think of it as 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So my fraction is going to be out of 10. So let's have it out of 10. And I can see that 4 of them are shaded out of 10. So it's going to be 4 out of 10. But remember, the answer that we were looking for was actually 2/5, because when we looked at 4/5 and we made it half as big, that size here is 2/5. Now I know that 4/10 actually simplifies, and it actually simplifies to 2/5. So we actually got the answer. So we use that same method that we had here by splitting the thirds into 3 equal sections and then taking 1/3. So same thing here, we took the fifths and we split it into half, and we took one of these halves and we got 4/10 altogether, and 4/10 we know simplifies to 2/5. Okay, now let's try another one. Let's take 2/5 and we're going to multiply that to 2/3. Okay, now this is where it's really important to use this method here. Okay, and you'll see why. So let's start drawing the diagram and see what this one looks like. Okay, so 2/5, so let's split it into fifths again. Okay, so 2/5 is here. So this is my 2/5. Now this time I need to make it into 2/3. So I need to take each section and I need to take 2/3 of this section and 2/3 of this section, and that will be my answer. So let's try and do that now. So I need to break these into 3 equal parts. Okay, and I'm going to take 2/3 of it. I'm going to take 2/3 of this, but that's not all I have. I actually have 2/5, so I need to take this one, split it into 3, and take 2/3 of that as well. Okay, and 2/3 of that would be like that. Okay, so now I need to think about what size I've got. I've got 4 of these. Okay, and how many of these will fit all the way through? Now I can see there's 3 here, there's another 3 there, there'll be another 3, another 3, and another 3. So that's going to be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So let's just check if that's correct. So split all of them into 3 equal parts. And let's count that. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And that's what we're looking for. So our answer here is going to be over 15. And we have 4 sections over 15. So my answer is 4/15. Now this fraction won't simplify. And this is our answer. Now what I would like you to notice now is this. So we have some fractions here and we multiplied them. So we've got 2/3 times a half, and that gave us a third. Okay, Actually, this one can also be done that same way, and I'm just going to show you that here. So what we have is we have 2/3, and I need to take a half out of each section. So let's do that. So half that and half that. And we're going to take this section, and we're going to take this section, and we can see that this is going to be two blue sections, and there's going to be 2, 4, 6 sections altogether. So the answer could have been 2 out of 6. Now I know 2 out of 6 simplifies to 1/3, and this is what we have here. Okay. Now what you'll notice is when we're multiplying fractions, an easy way to get the answer is to multiply the two top numbers and get this, and then multiply the two bottom numbers and get that. So 2 times 1 would be 2, 3 times 3 would be 9. Let's see if it works with the other ones. 4 times 1 is 4, 5 times 2 is 10, and when we simplify it, it becomes 2/5. And the last one, we've got 2 times 2 is 4, and 5 times 3 is equal to 15. Okay, so when we're multiplying fractions, you can see that there's a pattern developing, and this pattern actually, I can tell you, does work. You can multiply the two top numbers together to get your top number, and you can multiply the two bottom numbers together to get your bottom number. Now I'm going to write some questions for you to do. Now I'd like you to draw the diagrams for this first one. So let's have a quarter and multiply that by 2/3. Okay, so I want you to draw the diagram for this one. Let's have another one. I want you to draw the diagram for this second one as well. Let's have 2/3, and I'm going to multiply that by 3/4. Okay, so I want to see the diagram for both of these, and I'm just going to give you a few more questions, and you don't need to draw the diagrams for these, but I'd like you to just answer them. Okay, so these two questions, I'd like you to draw the diagrams for them and answer them. And these two questions, I'd just like you to answer them and then simplify your answer if you need to.